Type 1 diabetes can be very life-changing, but it doesn't mean that you can't do anything you want. You can still do everything, and you will make it through because it's hard at the beginning, but it's easy in the long run.
Hey guys, welcome to our channel. We've had kind of an eventful last few weeks, so we just wanted to kind of give you an update about what all that entailed. So for a little bit, Cal wasn't feeling super great. Yeah, it's true, right? He started it was gradual, but it started really increasing. But he needed to use the restroom a lot, drinking a lot of water, and just not feeling like he was getting enough to drink. There was some weight loss, a little bit of loss of appetite. That, like we said, it was gradual, but it just kept kind of getting worse. And so we're like, hey, maybe this isn't good. So we went to the doctor, and
Turns out I had type 1 diabetes.
Type 1 diabetes. That was a new one for us. Have you ever heard of diabetes before?
I just didn't know a lot
Yeah?
about it.
Yeah. So obviously type 1, type 2, there's actually type 3, but there is, it's true. Type 1, it means what?
Like an organ in your body, like the pancreas, it just stops working eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, it's kind of working sometimes not for me, so.
Just because it's called the honeymoon stage, it's right in the beginning, right after diagnosis. You were diagnosed about 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, it would be like the third week.
Mm-hmm. So what happened that weekend? Where did we end up going?
Hospital, the children's hospital in Lehigh.
Yeah, we ended up having to stay for the whole weekend at the hospital. Your blood sugar was super high. We were really lucky that we caught it when we did. If you don't catch it in time, what happens is there's so much sugar in your blood that it kind of basically turns to poison, and you can go into what's called ketoacidosis, and that's really serious. Thankfully, we did not get that far. So we actually ended up staying the whole weekend at the hospital. And what was that like?
Well, it was kind of fun. It was kind of not fun.
Well, yeah, it's a hospital.
Yeah.
But there were some really great nurses, and they came and they told us all the things that we needed to know, how to manage it. Now, we're obviously still learning a lot, but they were super great, and they told us all, because every time you eat, you have to get a shot, right? Mm-hmm. And so, and it's all based on what you're eating, on how many carbs, because our food turns to glucose, which then is absorbed by the body to create energy, and insulin is what makes it so that the cells in the body itself can be able to absorb that. And so we need to make sure that he's getting enough insulin to help his body absorb it. Too much insulin, and then he runs out of energy completely, and he'll go into hypoglycemic shock. So that's what the lows are for. And what happens if you're too low?
Like under 80, I have to have 11 Skittles.
Oh darn. Those are quick, fast-acting carbs that'll help bring them right back up. But also, at the same token, if you don't get enough insulin, then your blood sugar goes up too high. And that's also not good too, because then there's too much in your blood, and that's what leads you towards that ketoacidosis, which is way far down the road if you're not careful. But still, that's why it's important. We have to calculate it all, and you get shots before you eat anything, right? So 3 times a day at minimum, and then if you have a snack, you can snack anytime you want, but then you have to have a shot before you snack to cover the carbs. And then that's your fast acting, and then at night you get another type of insulin. It's a long acting one that it's 24 hours, and that kind of is in the background working all the time.
Yeah.
So what was it like having to get shots all the time?
At first it was hard, but then it got easy now. It hurts every now and then.
Yeah, and you usually say, "Mom, that one hurt." Or what's your biggest complaint when I do it?
Your hands are cold.
My hands are cold. It's just the way that it is. I try and warm them up, and then you're all like, no, it's okay, it's okay. But yeah, I don't know, it's been crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it has changed everything, but it also hasn't changed anything. So what I don't know. Tell me what you think. Like, you're the one with diabetes.
Like how it's been.
Yeah.
It's been like good,
Yeah.
easy,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things that the nurses told us was that it doesn't have to change anything about your life. And that is 100% true. And that's kind of something that we have been really focusing on to make sure that it doesn't have to control our lives. The more information and knowledge that we have, the more we're able to manage it. And then we can be able to still do all the things. Like, what's coming up?
A cruise.
Yeah. So we're still going to travel. We're still going to go to all those things, which is going to be a new experience because we're obviously going to have to ask lots more questions and be a lot more prepared. But you're still going to play baseball and you still go to school, and the nurse at the school comes and helps give you your insulin before you eat lunch.
Yeah. Like the only two jobs I can't do is be an astronaut or a truck driver.
That's true. That's what the nurse said. Those are the only two jobs that you can't do.
But other than that, every other job's completely fine.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, something else that's new is DEXI. That's what I call it. He thinks I'm weird. What is that? Tell us about that.
It's a CGM, a continuous glucose monitor.
Yeah. So it's a little device. There's a little tiny needle. Do you feel it?
No.
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 It sticks to your arm. Different models or versions of it, you can put them in different places, but you keep it on your arm, and it sends readings to. Oh, that's the other good thing about. What did you get? You got a phone.
Oh yeah.
It sends continuously sends glucose readings to an app that's paired with his phone. So you have to have your phone within 30 feet of you at all times for it to be able to get those readings. 33. Okay. So it's been kind of interesting at school, you know, telling all of your classmates about it, and really kind of teaching and explaining to all the teachers and everybody like why you have to have your phone with you to be able to alert you on those highs and lows and stuff like that.
More than once have I been asked, be like, oh, you're not supposed to have your phone. Be like, oh, but this, and then I'm like, okay, and then that's it. But it's solid amount I've been asked.
Yeah. What was it like with your friends when you were like explaining it to them?
They just didn't seem to understand it, so I had to explain it like 5 times.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, did you understand at the beginning?
Yeah.
You did? Just right away?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh,
I
well.
mean, I didn't understand there's like the glucose or whatever, but pretty much it's just basic. The glucose, or pancreas doesn't make insulin, the stuff that helps give you, or helps glucose get into your cells. It stops making that stuff, so you just have to get shots every time before you eat to give you energy.
It is pretty straightforward when you put it like that.
Huh.
Yeah. So, we are going to be showing all the things in our upcoming, obviously this is a forever thing now. So when we go on our cruise, like we said, we're going to have to ask questions because we need to know carb counts on everything that you eat. When we go into the parks, we're going to have to ask and figure out those questions. We're going to have to learn how to go through security and TSA and all those things with all the supplies. So we're really excited to be able to share that with you, because I know that we're not the only family who experiences this, right? But we're still going to be able to experience and do all those fun things. So, Calvin,
Yes?
if you had anything to say to any kid out there that got type 1 diabetes diagnosed just like you, what would you tell them?
I'd say just keep going. I mean, it's hard at first, but once you get past being at the hospital or getting past the beginning, it's pretty straightforward. You just go, count the carbs, whatever, you get your shot, which takes like 10 to 15 seconds, and then that's it. It just goes that quick, and then you can start eating, or you can get ready, or whatever you need to do after that.
It doesn't have to change anything.
No.
We're stronger than we know. We got this, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So tune in for all of our future videos. We're going to be highlighting what it's like to have diabetes and still be a Disney fan and do all of the amazing fun things and all the things that we do as a family and real life and everything like that. So until then, bye.
I still have my churros. That's the best part.
You can still have your churros.
Yeah.